I told him I was overwhelmed. He packed his bags and left without even looking at me. That moment is still burned into my mind. I can close my eyes and see it like it happened yesterday. The way he just walked out. No fight, no words, just a silent decision that shattered me in a way I didn't expect. But let me start from the beginning. My name is Emily, and I've been married to James for 5 years. At least, I thought I had been married to James. To anyone who saw us, we were a dream couple. We were the couple people admired from afar, the ones with the matching Instagram posts and the cute dates every weekend. We laughed a lot, shared a lot, and lived in a bubble that seemed perfect, even to us. Or so I thought. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, things started to change. It wasn't anything obvious at first. Small things, small cracks in the foundation. He would come home later than usual, his phone would be turned face down when it never had been before, and we began having less of the deep conversations we once shared. The intimacy started to fade. At first I blamed myself. I thought I was losing him, and I thought it was because I wasn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't doing enough for him. Maybe I was too busy with work or too consumed by my own struggles. I began to feel suffocated, overwhelmed by the weight of trying to be everything, wife, friend, daughter, colleague, without ever feeling like I was being seen or understood. I was giving, but I wasn't receiving anything back. It was like I was pouring my soul into our relationship, but it was never enough to fill the emptiness that had started to grow between us. I kept quiet, pushing my own feelings aside to avoid rocking the boat. I didn't want to admit to myself that something was wrong. But deep down, I knew. I had to admit it. I was suffocating. I was overwhelmed by the weight of pretending to be okay when I was anything but. I needed him to see me. I needed him to hear me. But the harder I tried to get his attention, the more distant he became. It wasn't until that night that I finally cracked. We were sitting on the couch, the TV on, but neither of us really watching. I had tried to start a conversation a few times, but James seemed to be lost in his own world. The silence was deafening. It wasn't the comfortable silence we used to share. It was the kind of silence that weighed on you, like a heavy, suffocating blanket. I couldn't take it anymore. "James," I said, my voice trembling slightly, "I need to talk to you." He didn't look up, didn't move. He just nodded, but I could tell his mind was elsewhere. "I'm overwhelmed," I continued, my voice growing quieter. I'm drowning, and I don't know how to do this anymore. I feel like I'm giving everything, but you're not even here with me. You don't see me, and I can't keep pretending that I'm okay with this." The words just poured out of me, everything I had been holding in for months, maybe even years. The fear, the pain, the loneliness, the overwhelming sense that I was trying to save a relationship that had already started to fall apart. He didn't respond immediately. I waited for something, anything, a word, a gesture, some acknowledgement that he had heard me. But nothing came. It was like I wasn't even there. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he stood up. I watched in silence as he walked toward the bedroom. A cold, sinking feeling settled in my chest. Was he going to walk away from me? Was this the moment I had been dreading? I stood up too, feeling my heart pounding in my chest. "James, where are you going?" I asked, my voice shaky with fear. He didn't answer at first. He just opened the closet door and began pulling clothes off the hanger. I stood there, frozen, watching him. My mind was racing. Was he packing? Was this it? Was he really leaving me? I approached him, my breath catching in my throat. "James, please, talk to me. Don't just walk away. We can work through this. I know we can." He didn't look at me, not once. He continued packing his things, his movements deliberate, almost mechanical. It felt like I was watching a stranger in my own home, a stranger who had no regard for the woman he had once loved. "I'm sorry, Emily," he said, his voice cold. "I can't do this anymore. I don't know how to fix it, and I'm not sure I want to." The words hit me like a ton of bricks. "What do you mean? You don't want to fix it? You don't want to try?" My voice was barely above a whisper, thick with disbelief. He didn't look at me. He didn't even acknowledge my pain. He just kept moving, tossing his things into a suitcase, as if he had already made up his mind. "I can't be the person you need me to be," he said, his tone distant. "I can't fix what's broken. I'm sorry, but I just can't." I stood there speechless, unable to comprehend what was happening. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. This wasn't how I imagined us falling apart. And then he was done. He zipped up his suitcase, and without looking at me, without another word, he walked past me. I heard the door slam behind him, and suddenly the house felt emptier than it ever had before. The silence that followed was unbearable, the kind of silence that screams in your ears, filling every corner of your being with an overwhelming sense of loss. I stood there in shock, staring at the door, trying to make sense of what had just happened. My body was trembling, my mind spinning. I had just poured my heart out, and in return he had packed his bags and left, without a word, without even looking at me. That was the moment I realized the truth. I had given everything to a man who wasn't willing to meet me halfway. I had waited for him to see me, to hear me, but he had already made his decision long before I had the courage to speak. If you've ever felt like you gave everything to someone who wasn't willing to give back, drop a comment. Let me know how you handled it. You're not alone. We're all in this together.